Welcome back to Elusive Escapes, your go-to channel for discovering the world's hidden treasures. Today we're exploring the hidden and must-see spots from the vibrant, futuristic, and downright incredible city of Singapore. This tiny island nation in Southeast Asia is packed with many beautiful spots that many travelers miss, and that's where we are going to take you today. Alright then, let's get started with the first spot, a true must-see, Marina Bay. If you're touching down in Singapore and looking for that, whoa, I'm really here moment, Marina Bay is the place to kick things off. This area is basically Singapore's showstopper, but don't let the big names and bright lights fool you. There are a few little secrets tucked in here too. One of the coolest things to do here? Walk across the Helix Bridge. Yup, it's actually shaped like DNA, and it lights up at night like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. Super Instagrammable, especially with the Marina Bay Sands skyline in the back. Speaking of which, Marina Bay Sands is basically that iconic building with the surfboard-shaped top. You can't come here and not stare up at it like, what even is that? Now here's the fun bit. While the legendary infinity pool on the roof is off limits unless you're a guest, don't let that stop you. You can still catch those jaw-dropping rooftop views by heading up to the Sky Park observation deck. You are going to buy a ticket for it, which is very cheap, and the views are worth every cent. You'll see the city stretching out like a dream, and especially stunning at sunset. And if you time it right, you can catch the Spectra Light and Water Show from up there or from ground level. It happens every night at 8:30 p.m. and it's totally free. Getting there's super easy. Just hop on the MRT and get off at Bayfront Station. From there, everything is within walking distance, and it's a pretty walk too. Think palm trees, waterfront breezes, and the occasional street performer. After soaking in the futuristic sparkle of Marina Bay, next we are going into one of the city's most colorful cultural corners, Kampong Glam and Haji Lane. If you're someone who loves getting a little lost in vibrant streets, snapping pics of mural-covered walls, and wandering in and out of indie shops and cafes, this neighborhood will hit the sweet spot. Kampong Glam is one of those places that feels like a storybook come to life. It's the heart of Singapore's Malay Muslim heritage, and it's been around since the early 1800s. But don't expect it to be all old school. This area's got serious personality. Picture traditional architecture mixed with a modern artsy twist. You'll know you're in the right place when the golden dome of the Sultan Mosque catches your eye. It's kind of impossible to miss. The mosque is gorgeous up close and makes for a pretty iconic backdrop. But now let's talk about Haji Lane. This narrow, slightly chaotic street is bursting with color, creativity, and a vibe that just pulls you in. Every wall here is basically a canvas, and the street art is next level. Whether you're into vintage fashion, handmade jewelry, or that one-of-a-kind cafe you'll want to tell your friends about, Haji Lane delivers. It's chill during the day, perfect for boutique hopping, but once the sun dips, things liven up. The bars open their shutters, live music drifts through the air, and suddenly you're sipping a cocktail under a rainbow of fairy lights. Now to get here, you need to hop on the MRT and get off at Bukit Station. From there, it's just a few minutes walk, and you'll start spotting the colorful shop houses and domed rooftops pretty quickly. Best time to go, late afternoon into evening, so you can catch the shops open and then stay for the evening buzz. Since we're already in the mood for vibrant streets and heritage, why not stroll into another historic hotspot that's bursting with flavor and personality? Chinatown. Now, don't just think of this place as the go-to for budget eats or souvenir shopping. Sure, it's got both in abundance, but Chinatown is way more than that. It's a full-on cultural time capsule that also knows how to keep things lively and fun. As you step into this neighborhood, you're basically walking into the story of thousands of Chinese immigrants who came to Singapore back in the 1800s, hoping to build better lives. The energy here, still buzzing with that same drive and soul. Today, the area's evolved into a vibrant mashup of old traditions, buzzing street life, and cool hidden finds that make it one of those places you'll want to spend more time than you planned. Start your tour on Pagoda Street. The shop houses lining both sides are colorful, quirky, and packed with character. You'll find everything from silk robes to handmade trinkets, and if you're anything like most travelers, you'll probably end up with a few more souvenirs than you meant to. And the food? Prepare your taste buds. Chinatown Food Street is an open-air stretch of hawker stalls that serve up everything from satay and char kway tiao to chili crab that might just change your life. Best part, it's super affordable. But here's something you might not expect. Along one single street here, you'll find a Buddhist temple, a Hindu temple, and a mosque, all within walking distance of each other. That's not a travel cliche, it's literally true. And it's kind of the perfect representation of Singapore's unique blend of cultures. You've got the stunning Sri Mariamman Temple with its ornate carvings, the peaceful Masjid Jamai Mosque, and the iconic Buddha Tooth Relic Temple, which is just wow. Make sure to pop into that last one. There's a rooftop garden and a prayer wheel that travelers often miss. Now for the logistics. Just take the MRT to Chinatown Station. It drops you right into the heart of it all. Most shops and temples are open daily, but if you're looking to beat the crowds, try to get there earlier in the day or on weekdays. No entrance fees for most places, though donations are always appreciated, especially in the temples. After the buzz of Chinatown, how about a quiet escape to a place that feels like time stood still? Lorong, Buangkok. While most of Singapore has gone full-blown futuristic, this tiny pocket of calm is like stepping into a time machine and landing in the 1950s. No high-rises, no honking traffic, no crowds, just a small cluster of wooden houses, fruit trees, unpaved paths, and an atmosphere so laid back it feels like a different country altogether. Now here's the thing, this Kampong isn't a tourist attraction. It's a real village with about 24 families still living their everyday lives here. That's what makes it so special. It's not staged or commercialized. It's the last living reminder of what life used to be like before Singapore turned into the urban marvel it is today. Because it's a private residential area, it's best to visit with a local guide who knows the place well and can help you explore respectfully. There are a few cool guided walking tours available, like the ones led by locals who grew up in kampongs themselves. They'll share stories, explain the customs, and give you a real sense of what community life looked like before shopping malls and condos took over. To get there, the easiest way is to take the MRT to Buangkok Station. Then it's a short bus ride and a bit of a walk. There's no signage, no ticket counters, no cafes nearby. So bring water, wear comfy shoes, and treat this like a peaceful walk back in time. Alright, if you're in the mood to slow things down a little and swap city noise for birdsong and gentle waterfall sounds, you're gonna love this next place, Yunan Garden. Tucked away in the far west of Singapore, yep, we're really going west for this. Now, this spot isn't exactly on every traveler's radar, which is exactly what makes it so magical. Think of Yunan Garden as one of those hidden pockets where nature and culture quietly hang out together. It's nestled inside Nanyang Technological University's campus, but don't let the school grounds thing fool you. This place is absolutely worth the trip. Inspired by classical Chinese garden design, it's got those poetic vibes, winding trails, peaceful lakes, and pavilions that make you want to slow walk like you're in an old Chinese movie. The showstopper here? A 5.6 meter tall waterfall right in the heart of the garden. And no, it's not just a little water feature. This thing is dramatic in the best way. There's an elevated platform where you can take in the full view, super photo worthy, or you can wander closer along a path that brings you down to the base, near the wetlands area. It's surprisingly peaceful considering you're technically still in Singapore's urban zone. Yunan Garden also packed with fun little discoveries. There are 19 different themed trails scattered through the area, and each one has a bit of a different focus. You've got herbal trails where you can spot traditional medicinal plants, art trails with cool sculptures, even literature-themed paths. And here's the best part, it's free. No tickets, no booking, just show up and wander. To get there, take the MRT to Pioneer or Boon Lay Station, and then hop on a bus to NTU. The garden is just a short stroll from the drop-off points. Alright, now you've seen the modern skyline, wandered through colorful kampongs, and even stumbled across a peaceful garden waterfall. But how about stepping into the real heart of Singapore's history? That's exactly what's waiting for you at the next spot, Fort Canning Hill. This hill might not look super dramatic at first. It's green, it's leafy, it's peaceful, but it's one of the most fascinating places in the city if you're even remotely into history or just love a spot with a story. And Fort Canning, it's basically layered in them. Tucked just behind Clarke Quay and not far from Dhoby Ghaut MRT, Fort Canning Hill is easy to get to, but a lot of people walk right past without realizing how packed with history it is. This hill was once the seat of ancient Malay kings. Yes, kings, and even before before colonial times, it was considered sacred ground. Fast forward a few centuries and the British rolled in, turning it into a military fort. Later, during World War II, it became the site of one of the most dramatic chapters in Singapore's story. Underneath the hill is the Battle Box, a real underground World War II command center. This was where, in 1942, British officers made the decision to surrender Singapore to the Japanese. And you can actually go inside. There's a guided tour that takes you through the dim corridors, old strategy rooms, and rusted doors. It's one of those places where the air feels heavier, like the walls still remember. The Battle Box experience usually requires advanced booking and is not super cheap, but it's well worth it, especially if you're curious about Singapore's wartime past. You'll get a super knowledgeable guide who shares the kind of details you won't find just reading plaques. It really pulls you into the emotional weight of that moment in time. It's open daily, and entry to the park grounds is also free. After walking through history, maybe you're ready for a wilder kind of journey, so lace up your boots because this next spot is off the map and deep in nature. Seng Chew Quarry. Now, fair warning, this isn't your paved path, camera-ready kind of place. This is raw, rugged, and a bit mysterious. The quarry's not fenced off or officially restricted, but it's also not polished for tourists, which is exactly why it's so cool. It's one of those spots that makes you feel like you found something secret and untouched. But with that said, don't just show up in flip-flops and expect a breezy walk in the park. You'll want sturdy shoes with good grip, and ideally go with a local guide who knows the trails. The terrain gets muddy and steep in parts, and unless you're familiar with the way, it's easy to take a wrong turn and end up in the middle of a thicket wondering where the city disappeared to. But once you've made it through the short but sometimes tricky hike, you'll come to this peaceful open space surrounded by greenery, with the quarry pond glimmering in the middle like some kind of secret oasis. The reflection of the trees on the water, the sound of the wind moving through the leaves, it's a whole vibe. You'll forget you're in Singapore for a second. It's that quiet, that calming. Locals even tell stories about the quarry being a healing place. Some believe the water has special energy or brings good luck. Whether you're into mystical folklore or not, there's no denying it's got a kind of stillness that sticks with you. And if you're a fan of hidden viewpoints, you'll love the view from up here. It's not the kind of panorama you get from Marina Bay. It's raw, green, and beautifully wild. You can get to the trailhead by taking the MRT to Bukit Gombak Station. From there, it's a short walk to the area where the hike begins. Though again, it's not well marked, which adds to the adventure but also means don't just wing it. There's no entry fee. This is nature's gift, no tickets required. Alright, after all that hiking and adventure, you're probably ready for something delicious and a little different. And that's why we are going to a fantastic restaurant. Smith Marine Floating Restaurant. This is not your usual restaurant. First of all, it floats. Literally. It's set right on the water between Pulau Ubin and Changi Point Ferry Terminal, which means the only way to get there is by boat. Yep, you hop on a bumboat, a cruise across the calm waters of the Johor Strait for about 15 minutes, and then boom, you're docking at a modern kelong that serves some of the freshest seafood you'll probably ever taste in Singapore. The vibe is super laid back and breezy, with sweeping sea views and the occasional fish flopping in a nearby pond. Once you're there, you can dig into a proper seafood feast. Think sambal mussels that bring the heat, classic Singapore-style chili crab, melt-in-your-mouth steamed prawns, crispy calamari, and even lobster with pumpkin sauce if you're feeling fancy. Prices vary depending on what you order. Getting there is also part of the experience. You'll need to call ahead and book both your meal and the boat ride. Boats usually depart from Changi Point Ferry Terminal, and it's best to go during daylight hours, especially if you want to enjoy the sea views and not feel like you're starring in a pirate movie. The restaurant is open daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., but give yourself time to travel and soak it all in. Now that your stomach's full and your soul is happy, let's get back to nature, this time in a forest trail that's practically forgotten by time. Bukit Batok Hillside Nature Park. Tucked quietly behind the more famous Little Gailan area, Bukit Batok Hillside Nature Park is one of those places that feels like it slipped through the cracks of time, and somehow it's still there, waiting for you to stumble into it. This isn't your typical park with clear signage, gift shops, and park rangers waving maps. In fact, finding the entrance already feels like you're cracking a code. All you've got to go by is a pair of metal poles standing by the roadside near a bus stop along Bukit Batok West Avenue too. Blink and you'll miss miss it. But once you step off the concrete and into the greenery, it's like being pulled into another version of Singapore, wild, overgrown, and quietly cinematic. The trail starts with some stone steps, man-made but now half covered in leaves and vines. As you climb, the forest starts to thicken around you, and the deeper you go, the more surreal it gets. You'll spot old wooden boardwalks in various states of decay, Torii Gate-style frames standing like ancient sentinels, and pavilions slowly being reclaimed by nature. If you keep following the hill upwards, you'll eventually reach a breezy open hilltop that gives you a great view back down over the lush landscape. No one really knows the full backstory of this place. There are whispers about old farms that once sat on the far side, and some say there were plans to develop this into a proper park that just never quite happened. Either way, what's left now is this unmarked gem of a trail slowly being swallowed back into the forest, and with nearby areas like Tenga already cleared for housing, there's no telling how long this peaceful patch will stay untouched. If you're planning to explore, come prepared. This is definitely a bring your mosquito spray, wear long sleeves, and don't wear your nicest shoes kind of hike. The trail's not dangerous if you go slow and watch your step, but it's not a walk in the park either. You'll be ducking vines, stepping over roots, and maybe brushing past a thorny bush or two. To get there, just hop off at Bukit Gombak MRT station and take a 10-minute walk toward Bukit Batok West Avenue 2. There's no entry fee, it's totally free, and you can explore at any time of the day, though mornings or late afternoons are best to beat the heat and enjoy some soft sunlight through the trees. And finally, let's wrap up our journey with a trip to Sentosa, but not the beach bars and theme parks. We're going to explore one of its most haunting and historic secrets: Fort Serapong. Tucked away in the lush heights of the island lies Fort Serapong, a place that feels more like the set of a post-apocalyptic film than a tourist destination. Now, this is not your typical Sentosa stop. No margaritas, no beach towels, just moss-covered ruins, abandoned military tunnels, and the eerie silence of history that's still echoing through the trees. But the fort's story gets darker during World War II. It was targeted and heavily damaged by Japanese bombings in 1942, and later, after the British surrendered Singapore, the island became a chilling sight of tragedy. Fort Serapong watched silently as the Suk Ching massacre unfolded on the nearby shores, and as thousands of prisoners were held in nearby barracks turned POW camps. These aren't just ruins, they're chapters of Singapore's story that you can still walk through. The trail itself is about 4 kilometers long and takes around 2 hours to complete at a relaxed pace. It's not overly intense, but you'll want decent walking shoes, some water, and probably a hat. Singapore's sun doesn't mess around. You can either explore parts of the trail in sections or do the full loop if you're in the mood to soak in the whole story. Access to the trail is free, but again, stick to the designated paths and don't try exploring alone, especially if it's your first time. It's one of those places that gives you goosebumps, not because it's scary, but because you can feel the weight of everything that's happened there. It's humbling, it's sobering, and honestly, it's unforgettable. And there you have it, 10 hidden gems and must-see marvels scattered all across Singapore. If you love this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and drop a comment telling us which spot you'd want to visit first, or maybe even share a hidden gem of your own. Until next time, keep exploring, keep getting lost in the best ways possible, and remember, the best escapes are always a little elusive.